So we are here in California. It's a beautiful day. We are just a couple of weeks out before the LA Auto Show, and we are getting a sneak peek at something that is very special for families, for EV fans, and really a look at the future of what driving is going to be. We're going to go in this studio and check out the 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 9. This is the Hyundai Ioniq 9. It is the first full-size 7 or 6 passenger 3-row SUV from Hyundai that is all electric. There is a lot of really cool design in this car, a lot of really great technology. I have a lot of things to show you about this car, not only how it's going to change our time in the car, but how it's also going to change your thinking and your opinion of driving an all-electric car. I'm really excited to show you not only the outside, but also the inside of the 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 9. Be sure to follow along on all of our social channels, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you see a video pop up here, click on it. It's something that we picked because we think you're going to like it. So I want to take a quick look around. There's a lot of things that you'll notice that we've seen on the other Ioniq models, these flush door handles that pop out to allow you access, but then they close flush to the body of the car when you are driving, so they're not out all the time. These pixels on the rear end. So notice how, this is really cool, notice how they go all the way around for these really elongated, almost fin-like taillights here. We have the Ioniq badge there across the bottom. If you look at the rear of this and you look at the Santa Fe, you'll see a lot of design similarities. They call that design language, and the pixels and the rear end of the Ioniq 9 is very iconic to Hyundai's design of late. Here is the charge door, and notice that it's got the pixels here as well. This car is not fully functional because this is a pre-production model, somewhere between the concept and what they're going to build in the factories when they start building it in the spring of 2025. So not everything is going to function, but it's going to look just like this. Another detail I'll show you are these stacked headlights. So you see the pixels there on the right, and then the stacked headlights here on the left. And it gives that really cool modern look. And then we see that light bar across the front. These are pixels in the dark. When the car is moving in traffic, that's going to look like a solid light bar, not the pixels that we see in the light here, but it is really beautiful. And then the Hyundai badge right there. Around the lower portion of the Hyundai Ioniq 9, you'll notice there are all these little sensors, and there are panels where there are more sensors, cameras, and other details, including what they're calling the cassette. And this is this little portion right here that there are sensors and technology in this little panel. And the great thing about this little cassette panel is it can pop out and be replaced. So say there's an update to the technology or a recall on that technology, the service center can actually just pop that out and replace the entire thing without replacing the entire bumper. That is a really nice detail. There are several trims of the Ioniq 9. This is the SEL, and it's notable by these black clad wheel wells. So you see how it's black sort of around the corners. We still have that insert. The designers are calling that an eyebrow. So we still have that insert above the wheel, but it's very notable for those black wheel wells. It's designed to make it look sporty, look a little special, and I'm going to say I really like this color. So we did see those Korean spec mirrors. We don't have them on the American spec, so this is what the door panel looks like with regular side view mirrors. So this is kind of a cool detail. I love the way that the Ioniq name is embedded here in the rear, and it's this really pretty chrome, and you don't really see that in the silver that we were looking at earlier, but in the green it really stands out. The Hyundai Ioniq 9 is a 3-row SUV. It has all-wheel drive, 300 miles of range, and ranging from, there's a 2-wheel drive version that gets about 215 horsepower, but the all-wheel drive models generate either 303 or up to 422 horsepower, which means this one is not going to be shy on the road. It's also going to have all the things that we really love from Hyundai's EVs. So super fast charging. You can charge it at a DC fast charger to 80% in about 18 minutes, which is amazing. It has one pedal driving, which allows you to regenerate that energy as you're driving, say, down a hill or in heavy traffic, bumper to bumper traffic. It will actually regenerate that battery. The best part is they say that it will have a range of 300 300 plus miles. If you look at the European estimates of over 600 kilometers, that actually translates to about 350 miles. So we'll see when it's out on the road, but our expectation is 300 miles is going to be on the low side of the estimate of how far the Hyundai Ioniq 9 can drive on a full charge. One detail that's really interesting is that the Hyundai Ioniq 9 is outfitted with the NCAS, or North American Charge Standard, which is this outlet here. So for this is level 2, which is slower charging, or level 3, if you go to a DC fast charger, it will use this entire port. We're going to see more charge stations adapting to the North American Charge Standard that we see here. DC fast charge here, at home, level 2, you'll use this part. The nice thing is it's smaller and it's easier to manage than the chargers that we've been using in the past. So anybody who gets this is really going to appreciate it. But in the event that you go to a charge station that's old school, that has the old style charger, Hyundai's also going to give you an adapter. So you'll just pop that adapter onto the end of the cord or into here and connect them, and you'll be able to charge automatically. Another benefit is plug and pay. So if you have Hyundai Pay and you have filled out all that information, set up your account, connected your credit card, and many charge stations, it's not going to be all of them, but many of them, you pull in, you plug it in, and it automatically charges your Hyundai Pay. That's because there's software handshakes that go on. The software reads the car, it knows your Hyundai Pay account, and then it just charges your account. That is how it works with Tesla charging, and that type of easy charge and go without any tapping your phone or your credit card or any of that, just it knows who you are, it knows you, recognizes your account, and it charges you automatically. Well, whoop. It also has a mind of its own. The interior of the Hyundai Ioniq 9 is completely new and fresh and gorgeous, but it has a lot of things that we have come to know and love in Hyundai's Ioniq EVs. I want to show you this, and that is this screen here. This is actually your side view mirror. Now, I don't think we're going to see this in North America. This is something that you probably will see in Asia and Europe, but probably not in North America. And I wish we would, because it's so cool. It has this tiny little side camera on the outside where the side mirror would be, and then it has this really nice screen here. So we're probably not going to see that. This will probably look more like the typical car side mirror on a car. But what do you get? Well, they have added this curved screen here. So we've seen this in other Hyundais. They didn't reinvent this because there was no need to, but what you will see are things like voice activated assistance, which we have not seen in many of Hyundai's cars, but we're going to see that. So it will be, hey Hyundai, or hey something else, and you'll be able to change the radio station, change the cabin temperature, and it's connected to Alexa, so you can actually order toilet paper if you would like. You'll be able to do that too. Then we have this really beautiful new, this dash, and look at this. So they're using these recycled and sustainable materials. This looks like foil. I've never seen a dash treatment that looks quite like this. And then notice here it says calligraphy. So calligraphy is the top of the line in Hyundai land, and it is beautiful. The seats that are in the prototype that we're looking at, these are not, they look like leather, but they're not. They're actually leatherette. They're really, really beautiful. This really beautiful pixel design, you'll see this all throughout. You'll see it in the perforation and the seats, and here, that is an indication that these are heated and vented seats, which is a really nice detail. On the center console, they added something that I really love, and that is I can open it this way, or I can open it this way. And what that means is rear seat passengers have access to the center console as well. There are cup holders here. One thing that you'll find in here is the UVC cleaner. So I can turn this on. All I have to do is open this box first, put my phone or whatever I want to clean, baby's pacifier right in there, close that, and tap this on, and it will clean. It'll give us, whatever it is, 3 minutes or something of UV light to kill all the germs on the objects in that box. That's pretty nice. USB-C ports, and then we have our old-fashioned cigarette adapter style power port right there, which is a nice thing to have if you need that. Over here are our drive mode selectors. So let's see, here's our drive modes: Eco and Sport, Custom, so you can set that up, and Normal. And then we'll also see there's an auto hold here. Here's our camera system. So you can see I can select what I want from the camera system. There's my surround view. And then I also have settings if I want to set up my camera view. And then I have my park sensor right there. and downhill descent control. Then this is the wireless charger here, so I'm able to pop my phone in there and charge it wirelessly. This is a nice rubberized mat, and so this is going to keep my phone from sliding around. And then here I have a fingerprint recognition system, so I can set this up to recognize my fingerprint so I can start and drive the car. Really like that detail too. There is a nice little storage spot here. There is a nice little storage spot in here. So lots of clever carving out of spaces to put things. We have a nice menu here for climate. We have the very famous Hyundai hot buttons right here, so you can set your favorites. And if you've driven a Hyundai, these are familiar to you. Here is the multimedia system. And it's a lot of the things that we have gotten to know on Hyundai systems in the past. Ooh, we can heat the front or second row seats in this model. Hyundai car to home. So this is not available yet, but that's something that you'll be able to do. And that means you'll be able to use your car as a battery to power things at home. Hyundai Pay is something we'll have. Projection phone, that's where you're gonna find Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Systems and setup. This is where you'll find all of your EV settings. You'll find your vehicle settings if you want to set things here. Voice recognition. So this is unavailable now, but this is probably where you'll be able to turn on or off the Hey Alexa or whatever the wake word is for using voice activated assistants. There is a head-up display here, and I will show you that. So we're in a studio. It's kind of hard to see. Cinema. Oh my gosh. So when you are parked, you will be able to stream any of these apps to this screen right here in the Hyundai Ioniq 9. Gotta love that. They've moved the gear selector, and they've done this in some of the other cars too, including the Ioniq 5. The gear selector is actually over here. So taking it out of the center console frees up all that space, and you have it right here. Then we have steering wheel controls, which are kind of typical. The Hyundai pixels are right here. Rather than having that Hyundai badge, having the pixels on the steering wheel is a really cool thing. I want you guys to check out the sunroof. It is huge. It covers certainly the front cabin and the second row, and the third row passengers are going to have a little overhead light as well. Let's hop into the second row and take a look and see how that's shaping up for passenger comfort. In the calligraphy edition, everything is so elegant. I love the color of this interior. I love this flat floor. This is really beautiful, and they put these really nice carpets here. I hope that those carpets are on the production model. And then we have things like an armrest, which is typical and nice to have. They're manual shades, which is actually a really good thing. That means there's no moving components that are going to get broken by somebody's exploding juice box. All about that. We have these buttons here on the side of the seat that allow us to move the front seat if we want to make more legroom for rear seat passengers. There are relaxation seats in both the front and the center row. I don't think that we have those in this car because this is a bench seat, but if you do buy the captain's chairs, you can get relaxation seats in which there's a footrest that extends, the seats push back and recline a bit, and you can lay back and take a nap in the center row while somebody else does the driving, and I'm all for that. But let's really talk about what is important in family cars, and that is child passenger car seats. With these seats set all the way back in the slightly reclined, and this seat set for me, I'm 5'8", we have, oh boy, 36 inches. 36 inches is where this came to. 36 inches of space, seat back to seat back. Now, I'm 5'8", and this is set for me. It might be 34 inches if I was, say, 6 feet tall. What that means is there is plenty of space for rear-facing child passenger car seats. So this seat is even pushed back a little bit further, and let's see what this one looks like. This one still is 36 inches. So a lot of space for rear-facing child passenger car seats. I see two sets of latches here. I do see the center seat belts, and let's see what that measure looks like. So 12 inches seatbelt to seatbelt. And what that means is you can fit an adult or another passenger here in the center seat, or you can put a baby seat or a front or rear facing child passenger seat here. And so now I've moved the seat as far as it's going to go close to the front seat and locked it in, and it's still 31 inches between this seat and this seat. And this seat's set for me. I'm 5'8", and actually I probably could move the seat up a little bit more for driving. I'm not driving it in this room that I'm in, but 31 inches between the front and the rear seat, that's a lot. That means that you can create enough legroom in the third row for somebody who's tall and still have a rear-facing child passenger car seat in this seat with it moved all the way forward. That's a rarity. Not all three-row SUVs let you do that, but the size of the Ioniq 9, due to the batteries that are underneath the carriage, accommodate a really large passenger cabin. Now, the real question is, how big is the space in the third row? So let's talk about getting into the third row. The calligraphy edition, they're showing with push buttons here. There are also buttons on the side of the seat, so I can push this button and the seat slides and tilts forward for third row access. These seats, I am very happy to report there are 4 sets of latches. There are 2 sets of lower anchors back here. The third row seats 2 passengers, and I'm going to pull this seat back to its natural position. So you probably wouldn't want it this far upright, but it naturally comes to the middle seating position on the rail there, and I have plenty of legroom. I have a lot of headroom, which is actually nice for this kind of swooping low roofline. I feel pretty good back here. I like these large windows. You'll see these large windows here. They've got some buttons here. I can't really tell. These are for reclining the seats. So let's see. Ooh. Oh, it reclines the seat. That is nice. And if I don't want it quite so reclined, I push this button. Okay. That's a win. I like that. That is probably a calligraphy edition detail, but we'll have to see what the price looks like on that. They're building this in North America. It should qualify for any tax incentives, and that might actually make the calligraphy much more affordable than you might think. Back here, I also see there are vents in the roof for air. There are 2 USB ports, one here and one there. And I don't know, I think I might just put the seat back and take a nap. So you might ask the question, can I put child passenger car seats in the third row? And with this seat in the middle position, so I've just pulled it back to its natural position, and it doesn't come all the way back, it comes to that middle setting. Between this and this seat, which I have reclined a little bit, I've got 32 inches. So you're going to have enough space, certainly for a forward-facing child passenger car seat. If you wanted to put a rear-facing seat back here, you could do that too. Your kids will have a nice little view out the back window as well. Now, this seat is all the way back, and what does that leg room look like? So between the center seat, which is pushed all the way back, and the third row seat, which I have at a little bit of a recline, sort of a natural posture, what kind of space are we looking at? That's really about 22 inches. So really it's about 10 inches between here and here. So if you are going to put car seats in the third row, then you're going to need to make sure that these center row seats are pushed a little bit forward. Getting in and out of the third row, let's see how that goes. There's a little handhold right here, better for getting in, but I have enough room to stand up pretty tall here, which is kind of nice considering how sloped this roof line is. And then putting this seat back in its place is pretty easy. Oh, and that's what the seat looks like, folded flat. So we're still waiting on a lot of details about the Ioniq 9. This is really just a first look. I imagine it will have the same technology we find on all its cars, which is you can stand behind it with the key and the cargo space will open up. We see a nice little cargo floor here. There's about 22 cubic feet of space behind the third row. If I put the third row down, that cargo space goes to over 46 cubic feet. And there are buttons here on the wall that will allow you to put up or down the third row. Also, you'll find in the cargo area, there is a household outlet here. It actually has a nice little cover that slides to cover it if you don't want, say, water, mud, dog slobber getting in there. You can close that up, which is a nice detail. So there's an outlet over here, and then there's this little air suspension button. So you can press this to raise or, whoop, sorry. That is not an air suspension button. That opens or closes the cargo space from inside. There is a lot of promise in the Hyundai Ioniq 9, a lot of promise for families that want to go everywhere they need to go, short trips, long trips, school runs, road trips, all on electric with beautiful, sustainable, easy to clean materials on the inside, but still a really elegant and refined look to the interior of the cabin. They've taken a sort of a furniture first approach to that cabin, meaning it's designed to be comfortable, it's designed to be spacious, it's designed to give you the flexibility that you need, whether you're driving adults and teenagers who don't need car seats, or little people who do, or the fur babies in our families who need that space as well. 300 plus miles of range, up to 422 horsepower, up to 5,000 pounds of towing. Hyundai has built the Ioniq 9 to deliver everything that we need in our family cars, and I can't wait to take it on a test drive.